We need to talk.
You'll never be anything, Noah. I deserve a man who can give me the life I've always dreamed of.
Money isn't everything, Olivia.
No, you were building furniture.
Olivia, please don't do this.
It's over, Noah. I stopped believing in us a long time ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my greatest honor to introduce the visionary behind this historic project, the founder and CEO of Horizon Structures.
No. No. This isn't possible.
5 years earlier, the sharp scent of freshly cut cedar filled the small workshop. Sunlight slipped through the dusty windows, falling across stacks of lumber, scattered blueprints, and half-finished furniture that Noah Sullivan had spent weeks crafting by hand. His clothes were covered in sawdust. His hands were rough. Tiny cuts marked his fingers from years of honest work. To anyone passing by, he looked like just another struggling carpenter trying to survive. But those who truly knew Noah understood one thing. He never built anything carelessly. Every chair, every cabinet, every staircase, every piece of furniture carried a level of perfection that made customers drive hundreds of miles just to hire him. Unfortunately, perfection didn't always pay the bills. Noah glanced at the overdue notices lying on his workbench. The rent for the workshop was 2 months behind. The electric bill was overdue. His old pickup truck had broken down again, and the bank had already rejected his loan application for the 3rd time. Still, he smiled. Not because life was easy, but because hope had always been stronger than hardship. He carefully wiped the sweat from his forehead and looked toward a large wooden table covered with strange metal pieces, miniature models, and dozens of detailed engineering sketches. This wasn't furniture. It was something much bigger. For nearly 6 years, Noah had been secretly working on an idea that no one believed could work. A revolutionary building system that could allow hotels, hospitals, schools, and even skyscrapers to be assembled in a fraction of the usual construction time, without sacrificing strength or safety. Every engineer he had spoken to dismissed him. Every investor laughed. Even the bank manager had mocked him. "Stick to making tables," the man had said. "Leave innovation to people with real degrees." Noah hadn't argued. He simply returned to his workshop and kept building. He believed one successful demonstration would change everything. He was closer than ever. Just one more prototype, just one more successful test. Then maybe, just maybe, the world would finally listen. The old bell above the workshop door suddenly rang. Noah looked up with a smile. "Olivia." She stepped inside wearing an elegant white dress, designer sunglasses resting on her head, and high heels that clicked against the wooden floor. She looked around the workshop with visible discomfort. Her nose wrinkled. The smell of sawdust seemed to irritate her. "You've been here all day again?" she asked. Noah smiled warmly. "I wanted to finish something before dinner." She glanced around the room. Nothing had changed. The same old machines, the same unfinished furniture, the same tiny office, the same dreams. Her smile slowly disappeared. "Noah, we need to talk." The warmth on Noah's face faded. He'd heard those words before. They almost never brought good news. He set down his tools and walked toward her. "What is it?" Olivia took a deep breath. "I can't keep living like this." Noah frowned. "What do you mean?" She looked around the workshop again before answering. "I mean this life, this workshop, this town, this constant struggle. I'm tired of pretending I'm happy." Noah reached for her hand. "We're getting there. My prototype is almost finished. I've spoken with another investor. If they agree to see the demonstration..." She pulled her hand away before he could finish. "I've heard that speech for 3 years." There was a painful silence. Then, Noah quietly asked the question he was afraid to hear. "Is there someone else?" She didn't answer. She didn't have to. The expression on her face told him everything. And in that single heartbreaking moment, Noah realized the woman he had loved with all his heart had already made her decision. Noah stood perfectly still. The workshop suddenly felt much smaller. The steady hum of the old ceiling fan was the only sound between them. He searched Olivia's face, hoping he was wrong, hoping she would smile and say she was simply frustrated. Instead, she slowly reached into her designer handbag. She pulled out a small velvet box. For a brief second, Noah's heart lifted. Maybe she had bought him a gift. Maybe today wasn't what he thought it was. But when she opened it, it wasn't a gift. It was her wedding ring. She placed it gently on the workbench between them. The tiny diamond sparkled beneath the afternoon sunlight. "I'm sorry, Noah. I can't do this anymore." Noah looked at the ring, then at her. "Is this because I'm broke?" She closed her eyes for a moment. "No." Then she opened them again. "It's because you're comfortable being broke." The words struck him harder than any punch ever could. "You work harder than anyone I've ever met," she continued. "But working hard isn't enough. You think if you keep building chairs and cabinets, one day everything will magically change." Noah shook his head. "You know that's not what I've been working on." She laughed softly. "Your invention? You really still believe in that? I've listened to you talk about those blueprints for years. Just one more prototype, just one more investor, just one more meeting. But nothing ever changes." Noah walked toward the table and carefully picked up one of his blueprints. "You've never even asked me how it works." "Because it doesn't matter." Olivia's voice echoed through the workshop. She pointed toward the leaking roof. "The roof still leaks." She pointed toward the old pickup truck outside. "Your truck barely starts." She pointed toward the unpaid bills. "You're drowning in debt." Then she looked him straight in the eyes. "And you still think you're going to change the construction industry?" Noah lowered the blueprint. He wasn't angry. He was hurt. "I thought you believed in me." "I used to." The answer came so quietly, yet it hurt the most. She looked away before continuing. "I believed in the man I married, but somewhere along the way, you fell in love with an impossible dream." Silence filled the workshop again. Finally, Noah asked, "So, who is he?" She didn't deny it this time. "His name is Adrian Brooks." Noah recognized the name immediately. Everyone in the city did. Adrian owned one of the fastest growing real estate companies in the state. Luxury apartments, shopping malls, hotels, private estates. His company seemed to build something new every month. He understands success. He knows how to build a future. Noah couldn't help smiling bitterly. "He builds with money. I build with my hands." She sighed. "And that's exactly the difference." Noah walked toward the workshop window. Outside, rain had begun falling. Drops tapped softly against the glass. "I loved you," he said without turning around. "I still do. I was building all of this." He pointed toward the blueprints. "For us. I wanted us to have a better life. I wanted our children to grow up knowing their father never gave up." Olivia's expression softened for only a second.
Then it disappeared. "I don't want my children waiting for dreams that may never happen." She picked up her handbag. "I've already filed the divorce papers." Noah slowly turned around. "You already what?" "They'll be delivered tomorrow." "You already decided?" She nodded. There wasn't anything left to decide. Noah stared at the woman standing before him. The woman he had met in college. The woman he had loved for 9 years. The woman who once sat beside him on the floor of this very workshop, eating cheap pizza and promising they would grow old together. She had made her decision weeks ago, without even telling him. "I hope one day you'll understand." Noah gave a slow nod. No. You just hope one day I'll stop hurting. For the first time since entering the workshop, Olivia looked ashamed. She reached into her purse one last time. This time, she pulled out an envelope. She placed it beside the wedding ring. There's some money. It should help you get back on your feet. Noah looked at the envelope as though it were poison. Then he pushed it back toward her. I don't want your money. It's not charity. It feels like it. She sighed. You've always been too proud. No. He looked directly into her eyes. I've always believed that what a man builds with his own hands means more than what someone hands him out of pity. Olivia shook her head. That's why you'll never be rich. She turned toward the door. Halfway there, she stopped. Without looking back, she said the words that would stay with Noah for the next 5 years. You'll never be anything. The workshop door slammed shut behind her. The room fell silent. Noah remained standing exactly where he was. He didn't run after her. He didn't beg. He didn't cry. He simply looked at the unfinished prototype lying on his workbench. Then, with quiet determination, he picked up his pencil and went back to work. Because if the entire world had stopped believing in him, he refused to become one more person who did. For the next 3 months, Noah barely left the workshop. The lights stayed on long after midnight. Neighbors often woke at 2 or 3 in the morning to the sound of saws, drills, and metal being welded together. Some shook their heads. That poor guy finally lost his mind. Others laughed. His wife left him and now he thinks he's going to invent something. The rumors spread through the small town faster than wildfire. But Noah ignored every one of them. Pain had become his fuel. Every insult became another reason to keep going. Every lonely night pushed him one step closer to proving everyone wrong. One rainy Tuesday afternoon, someone knocked on the workshop door. Noah expected a customer. Instead, he found his younger sister, Claire. She carried 2 paper bags from a nearby diner. I figured you hadn't eaten, she said with a smile. Noah glanced at the untouched coffee sitting on his workbench. It had gone cold hours ago. Claire looked around the workshop. Nothing had changed. The same piles of lumber, the same sketches covering the walls, the same prototype standing in the center of the room. Only one thing was different. Her brother looked exhausted. Dark circles surrounded his eyes. His beard had grown. His hands were covered with fresh cuts. When was the last time you slept? She asked. Noah shrugged. I'll sleep after I finish this section. Claire sighed. You've been saying that for weeks. She opened one of the paper bags and handed him a burger. Eat first. Reluctantly, Noah took it. They sat on 2 unfinished wooden stools. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. Finally, Claire broke the silence. I heard about Olivia. Noah continued eating. I figured you would. The whole town is talking. He smiled without humor. They'll need something else to talk about soon. Claire hesitated. Is it true she's getting married again? Noah stopped chewing. That's what I heard. Next month. Claire lowered her eyes. I'm sorry. Noah looked at his sister and forced a smile. You don't have to be. I lost someone who stopped believing in me. I didn't lose the person I thought I married. Claire reached over and squeezed his shoulder. You know Mom always said something. What? People only see the harvest. They never see the years someone spends planting seeds. Noah smiled. She also used to say oak trees don't grow overnight. Claire laughed. Exactly. She stood and walked toward the strange steel framework sitting in the middle of the workshop. I still don't understand what this thing does. Noah's tired eyes suddenly lit up. For the first time in weeks, he smiled like the old Noah again. It's not just one thing. It changes everything. He picked up 2 strange-looking steel connectors from the table. Come here. Claire walked closer. Noah fitted one connector into the other. There was a satisfying click, then another. Within seconds, 4 steel beams locked into place without a single bolt. Claire's eyebrows rose. How did you do that? Watch. He handed her another beam. Try pulling it apart. She pulled with all her strength. Nothing moved. She tried twisting it. Still nothing. It won't budge. Exactly. Noah's excitement grew stronger. Buildings take months because every connection has to be measured, drilled, bolted, checked, adjusted, and inspected. He tapped the connector. This locks itself into place. Claire stared at it. So workers don't need hundreds of bolts? They'll need less than 20% of what they use today. And construction time? Noah looked at the unfinished model with pride. Less than half. Claire blinked. You're serious? He nodded. Hotels, hospitals, apartment complexes, even skyscrapers. They can all be built faster, cheaper, and stronger. Claire looked around the workshop in disbelief. If this works, it will.
If it works, she corrected herself, why hasn't anyone invested? Noah laughed quietly. Because no one wants to believe a carpenter solved a problem engineers have been struggling with for decades. Just then, his old cell phone vibrated on the workbench. Unknown number. He almost ignored it. After the 5th ring, he answered. This is Noah. There was a brief pause. Then a calm voice spoke. Mr. Sullivan? Yes. My name is Daniel Mercer. I'm calling from Mercer Global Developments. Noah frowned. Mercer Global, one of the largest construction companies in America. I recently received a copy of your patent application. Noah's heart skipped. We've been studying your design for the past 2 weeks. Silence. Then the voice continued. Our engineering team believes your invention could completely reshape modern construction. Noah couldn't speak. We'd like to meet you. Claire watched her brother's face. She had never seen him look like that before. What kind of meeting? Noah finally asked. Daniel Mercer answered with a sentence that would change Noah's life forever. We're prepared to discuss a partnership worth $100 million if your demonstration performs the way your blueprints suggest. The burger slipped from Noah's hand. It landed on the dusty workshop floor. Neither he nor Claire even noticed. Noah stood frozen. His mind refused to believe what he had just heard. $100 million? It sounded like a prank. I'm sorry, he said cautiously. Could you repeat that? On the other end of the line, Daniel Mercer chuckled. I get that reaction quite often. Noah glanced at Claire, who was staring at him with wide eyes. We're interested in seeing your system in person. If it performs the way your patent application claims, we're prepared to make a substantial investment. Noah swallowed hard. And if it doesn't? Then we'll shake hands, thank you for your time, and fly home. Noah nodded, even though Daniel couldn't see him. When? This Friday. This Friday? Yes. Is there a problem? Noah looked around his tiny workshop. Half the walls still needed repairs. The roof leaked whenever it rained. His prototype wasn't even painted. No problem. We'll send the details by email. The call ended. For several seconds, Noah simply stared at the phone. Claire rushed toward him. What happened? He handed her the phone. I think, his voice cracked. I think someone finally listened. Friday arrived faster than Noah expected. He barely slept. Every waking hour was spent checking measurements, tightening joints, reviewing calculations, and testing every single connector again and again. Failure was not an option. By 9 o'clock that morning, 3 black SUVs rolled into the gravel parking lot outside his workshop. The neighbors peeked through their curtains. Children stopped riding their bicycles. An elderly man walking his dog stood still, watching the expensive vehicles with disbelief. The doors opened. 6 men and 2 women stepped out. Their tailored suits looked completely out of place in the quiet neighborhood.
The last man to exit the vehicle was in his late 60s. Silver hair, sharp blue eyes, calm confidence. Daniel Mercer, the founder of Mercer Global Developments, one of the most respected businessmen in America. Noah had seen him only in magazines. Now he was walking toward his workshop. Daniel extended his hand. "Mr. Sullivan." Noah wiped the sawdust from his palm before shaking it. "Welcome." Daniel smiled. "I've spent 40 years in construction. I've learned one thing. The greatest ideas rarely come from the biggest offices." He looked around the modest workshop. "They usually come from places exactly like this." Those words alone gave Noah more confidence than he had felt in years. Inside, the engineering team unpacked laptops, laser measuring equipment, cameras, and testing instruments. Nothing would be left to chance. Daniel looked at Noah. "We're ready whenever you are." Noah took a slow breath. He wheeled the steel framework into the middle of the workshop. "This," he said, "is the future." One of the engineers folded his arms. "We'll see." Noah smiled politely. "I hope so." He handed each engineer a numbered steel beam. No bolts, no welding, no special tools. Just follow the markings. The engineers exchanged skeptical looks. One whispered to another, "This should be interesting." The stopwatch started. Noah watched quietly as the engineers connected the beams. Click, click, click. At first, they worked cautiously. Then, their movements became faster. Within minutes, confusion spread across their faces. One engineer stopped. "Wait." He disconnected one beam, then reattached it. His eyes widened. No alignment issues. Another engineer called out, "Connection number 12 locked instantly." A third looked up from his tablet. "The measurements are exact." Daniel Mercer said nothing. He simply observed. 10 minutes later, the structure was complete. The lead engineer looked at his stopwatch. He frowned, then checked it again. "No." Daniel looked over. "What is it?" The engineer slowly raised his head. "It usually takes 6 experienced workers nearly 3 hours to assemble this type of structural frame." He looked back at the stopwatch. "They just finished it in 11 minutes. Silence. Daniel walked around the completed frame himself. He inspected every joint, every connector, every support. Finally, he nodded toward his engineering director. The testing. 4 hydraulic machines were rolled into position. They began applying pressure. 10 tons, 20 tons, 30, 40. One engineer whispered, "It should be deforming by now." Instead, nothing happened. The frame remained perfectly still. 50 tons, 60 tons, still nothing. The engineers stared in disbelief. Daniel slowly turned toward Noah. "Increase it." 80 tons? Daniel nodded. 80. The machines roared louder. Metal groaned. Computer monitors flashed numbers across their screens. Then, a loud bang echoed through the workshop. Claire gasped. One of the hydraulic testing arms had snapped under the pressure. The machine itself had failed. But Noah's structure,